Hello, and welcome to this new edition of District Dialogue. I am your Commissioner, Martin Raxton from District 3. It's great to be here, and today I am joined by a community leader, a servant leader, and someone that's working very passionately, particularly around mental health. So today I am joined by the first Douglas County Adopt a Spot participant of a nonprofit organization in District 3 under my administration, and that's my good friend, President and founder of the Brothers Brunch Foundation, Mr. KennethReddick.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So I appreciate you being here.
Hey, thank you for having me. It's definitely a pleasure, and I'm excited to have this conversation with you today.
Well, I appreciate you again taking a few minutes out of your day. And I know you and I have had a chance to get to know each other a little bit, but why don't you share with our audience a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and anything that you would like to share.
Okay. Well, I am Kenneth Reddick II, a.k.a. Sober Scooter, as we talk about mental health in this space.
Yes.
I'm originally from Jacksonville, Florida, Duval County.
All right.
Went to Florida A&M University, graduated as a bachelor's in healthcare management. I was also the king of orange and green back at FAMU, so that should tell you a little bit about Scooter versus Sober Scooter.
I understand.
Went on from there to become a medical sales representative. And actually recently moved on from pharmaceutical sales after 25 years to go full time into the mental health ministry with the nonprofit Brothers Brunch Foundation. Right. And Brothers Brunch Foundation is not a time to eat, but be fed mental health and self-care awareness. So we focus on breaking the stigma around black men in the community, but we also serve the community as a whole when we look at mental health, suicide awareness, substance abuse, and anywhere that I or the organization can provide some mental health peer coaching. You know, I think that that's the thing. We have to understand that every individual is unique. Yes. We're all unique. Absolutely. And everyone's healing journey is different. So we focus on kickstarting men especially, but anyone that needs help on a new mental health and self-care journey by mending, healing, and feeling a difference from a holistic perspective. And that's holistic with a W.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Well, one of the things that I really love about your ministry, and I love that you term it as a ministry, is that here in Douglas County, two of the challenges that we have when it comes to mortality is suicides and substance abuse and drug overdose. This is a ministry that directly impacts that and helps to talk to specifically black men. So what are some of the things that your organization, some of the services that you provide specifically in these areas to help stem that tide and to let men know that help is here and they're not going through it by themselves?
Well, the first thing that we offer is my testimony.
All right.
I'm a 3-time suicide survivor, and I was a 30-year alcoholic, even through my 25 years of being a pharmaceutical rep. Okay. So first and foremost, we're able to allow the men to have that safe and sacred space because they know someone that understands. I think that's the biggest thing around this is, and speaking from my personal experience, we feel alone. And a lot of people don't understand us. They think that maybe we should just stop drinking or he should just stop saying certain things or doing certain things, but people don't understand that there's a difference between mental health and mental illness. So with the Brothers Brunch Foundation, we focus on mental health, but with my specific expertise, my passion is mental illness. And through the organization, when I say that we kickstart men on a mental health and self-care journey, that means that the Brothers Brunch Foundation, through funding and other opportunities, helps find or provide 6 sessions to get men kick-started on that journey. And that doesn't necessarily have to be therapy. That could be a peer coach. That could be getting massages on a regular basis just to feel better about yourself, or a meditation coach. So we are not just about the fellowship because we can go anywhere and listen to somebody, but what happens is what the follow-up is and what that consistency is. So that's what Brothers Brunch offers. And to sum it up the best, our principles are PCP, positive, consistent, and present. So we offer something positive, but we're also going to be consistent so that we can assist you in remaining present for yourself, your families, and ultimately the community, the same way we strive to be.
And I think that's very important. And one of the things that you shared is how transparent you are.
Yes.
And I think as men, we need to hear that transparency from another man. And one of the things, again, that I think that we operate in is an operation of silence and isolation. So every time I see you, you're always upbeat, you have a bubbly personality, and it really is engaging.
Thank you.
So where does that come from? Where does that stem? Have you always been that way? Or, how do you just continue to maintain that upbeatness?
Well, I told you I was the king orange and green back at FAMU, so I've always kind of been an upbeat, energetic person. I was the dancer. I still, even sober, I've been called back to some 50-year-old birthday parties just so I could do the whoop, because I was the whoop king from Duval County. So part of this is just in me. My dad, who was the COO in Jacksonville, Florida, I always thought this would be something that he would do.
Okay.
I never thought that it would be manifested through me and that he would be along my side.
Sure.
So, but also I have 5 key things that I focus on to make sure that my mental health and my energy is intact. But first of all, I have to reprogram myself from mind, body, spirit to spirit, mind, body.
Okay.
If I listen to the spirit first, instead of trying to figure out everything in my mind, it gives me that direction that I need to, and which gets me more energetic. But I focus on my sleep, which is number 1. I intentionally focus on my breathing, which is number 2. Number 3 is meditation, and that doesn't mean you have to even stop and meditate sometime. Maybe it's just listening to meditation music at night, finding the right frequency so that you can get a good night's rest and receive your instructions to get up and be ready to go like I do. Number 4 is exercise and activity. I know I see you out exercising, doing your walk, so I applaud you for doing that part. But it doesn't have to be going to the gym. It could be going to the lake, getting that massage, for a man, getting that pedicure, just that woo-saw moment. And then number 5 is therapy. Therapy is therapeutic, not problematic. Once we break that stigma for ourselves and especially for our kids, then we'll see the change in generations, because we all need someone that we have a non-emotional connection with to just connect with and debrief at least once a month. So anytime I'm off, and I'll be honest with you, I was off a few days ago, I had to go back to those 5 principles that I have for myself and say, Scooter, what's going on? Something's got to be off. And I realized it was those self-care principles, because I really hadn't had that intervention during the week, even if it's just going to the chiropractor. Something that's going to make sure that those tension points and those stressors, that I'm taking them up off of me. And all of that is part of mental health. Yes, sir.
Well, not only do you focus on mental health, but you also pour back in the community. And earlier I talked about how you're our first nonprofit organization to adopt a spot here in Douglas County. So once a quarter, you have a team that comes out and you adopted a spot on Chapel Hill Road and you clean it up. So what inspired you and your team to do that? And one of the things that I just really love is that you have so many younger brothers that's a part of that.
Well, I've always seen the signs, in different cities, and, I always thought about, one day I wonder if I'll have me a sign. But I'll be honest with you, last year, when I went to the mayor's address, and I heard the ones about the city, then I'm like, you know what? I should do this and get the men involved. And, it's interesting how it evolved, because I make it more into a community event. That's why I say Brothers Brunch Foundation, everything is not just about the foundation. It's about bringing community together. So we've been blessed to have Jason's Deli offer some box lunches to come out. So I put it out there for the community just to come out. I even have someone at the Fowler Park to watch the kids, if you want to bring your kids and play. And one of you mentioned the young generation as well. Of course, through Brothers Brunch Foundation, I definitely have some of the younger generation, because they can relate to Ankh. you know, and that's sometimes what they need. So some of them just want to come out because, you know, they love to come out, you know, get out the house and do something positive. But also, I've been fortunate to have the Georgia State University Black Student Alliance. So they've come out several times to assist, and it's funny, some of the other adopt the roads, they got the adopt the spots, but I just got honored for picking up the second most trash last year.
Congratulations.
And some of the thank you. Some of the other organizations were joking to me, oh, you got everybody else coming out there, you cheated. I say no. I say it's all about the focus. I say for me it's about the community involvement. So I think that's what we have to do, is look at opportunities, not just for us to shine, but how are we truly bringing the community together when we're doing certain things with our name on it? Because it's not about me. So everything I do and the way I operate is out of purpose and not person. And that's why community is so heavy, especially to Dr. Road. And hey, you've been out there consistently as well.
Thank you.
So I appreciate you coming in, even before the sign was up.
How about that?
You were out there assisting. So yes, sir. So I appreciate you for the honor, especially of the unveiling, because it was the first time I had experienced that, and I wasn't expecting it. But and that's the road that we live on.
Yes, it is. So we certainly appreciate that. And when we come back from the break, we're going to go ahead and talk some more about the Brothers Brunch Foundation and other initiatives that we all can support and rally around. See you right back after the break.
I was a quarterback at Hardaway High School, college first round draft pick. On and off the field, we were taught to not show any signs of weakness. During the football season, I would stop eating, but I didn't know I was depressed. I thought that something was wrong with me. For 20 plus years was physical. We didn't have any education behind what mental health was. I started to learn it starts here first. If this is together, I'll be better as a father, as a man, and as a husband. Put the importance on your mental health. I'm not scared to talk about it anymore. The first tool is therapy. The second one is positive self-talk. And then journaling, putting your thoughts on paper. We have to redefine what being a strong man is and heal, love your mind.
Being a cowboy, I don't know anything different from when I was 3 or 4 years old. I did tough things. I thought everybody needed to do tough things, and if you didn't, I didn't have time for it. I had a very successful career at a very young age, and life was fast. I was preparing physically. I wasn't doing anything mentally on the inside. And then I got hurt. I wanted to be better as a person, and I really dug into mental health. I start my day with 20-minute workouts. I live life 8 seconds at a time. Horses are so therapeutic. They know what you're feeling. When you're nervous, they're nervous. He won't say it back, but we're pals. I take a lot of responsibility in taking care of my kids, my family, and being there for them. You're gonna have tough days. Everybody does. Find a place to stop and just breathe. Love your mind.
Welcome back to this side of District Dialogue. I am your Commissioner, Martin Raxton for District 3, and today we're joined by a great friend and a great leader, Mr. KennethReddick II. So before we went to break, you were talking about some of the accolades that you received recently for picking up and just doing some great things from a beautification standpoint in the community. Some of the things that we really stress specifically in District 3 on litter and just maintaining property and just maintaining the value and integrity of the community itself. But you go even deeper, and I know there's some things that you and the Brothers Brunch Foundation have on tap and have some upcoming events and initiatives. So I would love for you to share a little bit more about that and some of the new things that you're going to be promoting over the next few months.
Okay. Sounds good. And I appreciate that opportunity because, like you say, we do a lot more than pick up trash. So but one of those things I like to just highlight before I even talk about the upcoming is, we've had 3 years in a row where we've done a Black Men's Holiday Relaxation. specifically to get the men together during the holiday time to truly get them to do something different.
Yes.
And last year, I actually did a summer reset relaxation. So actually this year, once again, we'll be coming up with a summer reset relaxation in July, which our relaxations have all been at the Place of Kai, right downtown Douglasville.
Okay.
So we're supporting the community, putting back in the community as the community supports us as well.
Okay.
Also in June, Place of Kai has a wellness retreat called Mystic Woods.
Okay.
So we're actually doing a men and dads pre-wellness retreat the weekend before Father's Day. So, and then in August, in July, we also have our second annual wellness and back to school fair, which last year was our first one. So it was successful. We always aim to give out 300 backpacks, as well as having licensed practitioners, peer specialists, Cobb, Douglas, Public Health, as well as CORE. So we make sure that all those are present. But our main focus is to get people familiar with other therapists, especially African-American therapists that people don't know about within the community. But then in August, we're going to team up with Fathers Matter ATL, which focuses on all of the resources that a father may need, if it's finances, if it's legitimation, other legal issues, mental health. So we're going to try to bring Fathers Matter ATL here. I'm also, I was able to be awarded the National Parents Union Male Engagement Fatherhood Award.
Oh, wonderful.
So thank you. So we're going to try to bring some of those things that the National Parents Union has to Douglasville. I've been blessed to, with my son's school over at Holly Springs, we have about 45 dads signed up. To participate more within the school, as in what I'm calling is a Dad's Opening Doors program, but it's pretty much like a dad's PTA.
Yes,
So yeah, but those are the things that are going on, but things like the Dad's Opening Doors is something consistently where the fathers are being present, and I have my hands on there. Also once a month, we do a hybrid conversation. Because we not only operate in Georgia, we also operate in Florida and have a lot of connections now even in Philly. So every second Tuesday, we do a hybrid conversation with different focuses around mental health and self-care. So we're everywhere, barbershops. We got a You Got Next barbershop event coming back up May 31st. I mean, you can't tell me to talk about events coming up because we always have something going on. And if we don't have something going on, we're involved in other groups.
Sure.
That's the thing too, is that we have to find a way to come together. Brothers Brunch Foundation is only one entity. And I'm not going to have the answers, and we're not going to have the answers for everyone. That's why I partner with other organizations like Fathers Matter ATL, Undugu Brotherhood, the Black Man Lab. All of these are other organizations that are doing things like me so that we can stop saying that there's nothing out there. And I actually put out a weekly event calendar of all of the spaces that are available. So if we're not doing the work, we're a part of the work because we're a part of the community.
Well, I tell you, just in this brief conversation is so much, and I just think we just scratched the surface. And I just want to thank you for your leadership and commitment to what you're doing, and particularly in this space around mental health and mental awareness. So before we let you go, if anyone wants to get in contact with you and find out more about the Brothers Brunch Foundation, how would they go about doing that?
Well, the website is www.brothersbrunchfoundation.com. On Instagram, it's at Brothers Brunch Foundation, Inc., as well as on Facebook, Brothers Brunch Foundation, Inc. And also, if you need to reach KennethReddick, that's also a handle on both of them, because not only is it about Brothers Brunch, it's about me having those experiences to actually provide some mental health peer coaching for individuals as well. So even if it's not Brothers Brunch and anyone needs to find resources, just have a peer to speak with, we're here for you.
Well, thank you so much, and I truly appreciate everything you're doing. I'm getting your emails, your texts, and I'm planning to come out and be more visible So we certainly appreciate it, and thank you so much for coming on this segment of District Dialogue.
And thank you so much, Commissioner Raxton, for all you've done. Like I said, hey, you've been present.
Thank you.
You know, and you've been PCP, positive, consistent, and present. And Brothers Brunch Foundation and myself, we truly appreciate it, and we truly appreciate this opportunity.
Well, you're very, very welcome. So again, please contact Brothers Brunch Foundation if you have any further questions. A great conversation, a great leader, and they're going to do some more amazing things. So with that, when we come back, we're going to be joined by our General Services Director, Ms. Danielle Nichols. See you after the break.
Here's the deal. We gotta set ourselves up. Retirement is the long game. We can't play about our future or our finances. Let's put ourselves in the right position.
Welcome back to this edition of District Dialogue. I am your Commissioner, Martin Raxton, for District 3. Now I am joined, and we're going to talk about human resources. So I have the pleasure of, with me, our Director of General Services, Ms. Danielle Nichols. So good afternoon. Thank you for being here. How are you doing today?
Good afternoon. Thank you for the invitation. I am doing extremely well and happy to be here.
Well, that is wonderful. Thank you for accepting the invitation.
Absolutely.
And one of the things I always like to do is just start off and just share something about yourself, a little bit about your background, and anything that you would love for our constituents to know.
Okay, so I have over 22 years of experience in human resources, progressive human resources experience, about 15 years at the senior and executive level. I think a fun fact is that I'm ex-military, served in the Army for about 8 years. So most people don't necessarily tie the military to me, but that is something that most people don't know about me.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing. Are you originally from the great state of Georgia?
I am. Actually, I'm a native of Atlanta.
Okay.
I grew up in DeKalb County.
Okay.
But I was born in Atlanta. I'm not a Grady baby. I was born in, it is Southwest Hospital, or it was Southwest Hospital. I think during that time it was Holy Family. So yes, I am a native of Atlanta. There's not many of us left, I would say.
Well, that's very true, but I meet more and more every day. I am a transplant, but both of my parents were born and raised in Georgia.
Okay.
So I definitely have the connections, and we kind of flip-flop there, and here I am, and I have been a resident over 30 years, so love Douglas County. I love working with the county, and maybe you could share with us a little bit about your experience serving in the capacity and serving this community here in Douglas County.
Absolutely. So I do have family members that live in Douglas County. So before I started working with the county, my experience was visiting Douglas County and shopping in Douglas County. For some reason, I seem to find better deals in Douglas County. So I've been with the county for almost 2 years. And I've enjoyed my time here. Most of my experience has been in private sector in corporate America, and I have about 6 years in public sector. So I've been having a phenomenal time with Douglas County. It gives you the small town feel, but not really a small town, if that makes any sense. So it's a departure from the fast-paced environments that I have come from, and I feel that I'm in a position to effectuate change.
Okay. Well, I think that's very positive. And when we talk about human resources, you really don't hear about someone that is affecting change or someone that's a trendsetter, early adopter. So what are some of the things that you're looking to bring forth in that role, in that position, that the public would love to get better insights about?
Well, the first thing that I like to share with individuals that I talk to about human resources is that we're not the human resources police team. We are what I would call strategic positioners. So we look at business requirements expectations of the stakeholders and translate them into human capital needs. So with that, one of the things that I am working toward is transforming the HR department here at Douglas County so that it's more than just a tactical team, that we're more strategic in the offerings that we have, not only for our employees, but supporting the administration, supporting the Board of Commissioners, and other workforce related items that will help Douglas County be more effective as an employer.
Okay, well that's great. And one of the things you share with us is your corporate background. How would you say some things that you've experienced from corporate America you're looking to transition and bring over into county government?
Best practices. So in corporate America, we are not governed by a lot of the ordinances and the covenants that guide public sector. So, but making certain that we bring over, or I'm introducing or infusing best practices from an HR perspective, making certain that we are creating an environment where it feels like you might be in private sector from the perspective of how we operate, but recognizing that we're not private sector, and there are things that we need to be mindful of from a public sector need, and accountability for or accountability to the residents of the county. So creating a different feel, creating a different experience for our employees, and of course our residents that may come into one of our county facilities, making certain that we are assisting them as best as possible, directing them as they may need some sort of direction. We have a lot of residents that will come in and ask about job opportunities. So we, meaning myself and the team, are more than happy to walk them through opportunities based on their skill set.
Okay, well that's great. Back when I was in grad school, I was focused and my concentration was on human resources. So I had a chance to work in some HR departments, and back then, and I don't want to date myself too much, but a lot of the functions were in-house, where you had your recruitment, you had your benefits, there was someone there to talk about insurance, dental plans, etc. And as you're probably very aware of, that's not the case anymore. And sometimes it can become very confusing for employees to say, well, where do I go? Where do I get this information? Who do I go to? So what type of advice, or how do you help to guide those types of conversations for our employees even?
Well, one of the things that most employees may not realize is that our HR team is relatively small. There are about 8 of us, including myself, and with me having responsibility for the general services portfolio, I'm not always in the office to have oversight, leadership oversight for human resources. So we do not have a full service offerings or a set of full service offerings in the various disciplines within human resources. But what we do is make certain that we offer white glove treatment to employees. So it can be somewhat confusing to navigate the landscape, but we will make certain, we won't just give them an answer and then they walk away still confused. We will make certain that we provide them with the guidance that they need, the information that they need, so that they can connect with the correct point of contact. Some services we do handle in-house, but if we have to redirect the employee to one of our vendors, we'll make certain that we do a soft transfer before just telling them, hey, you need to reach out to this particular entity. So we try to make it easy or remove the complexity for the employee to try to figure out who they need to speak to or what they need to ask. We make certain that we provide them with all the guidance that they need to navigate the appropriate point of contact or ask the appropriate questions.
Okay, and I think that's great to hear, great to get that insight. And even when we're talking about HR and just the field itself, what are some of the new trends, or what are some of the new directions that you're seeing the field migrate into? If you could share some of that with us.
Well, one of the things that I think most people really don't think about is workforce development, developing a bench strength so that you have a clear succession plan for the leaders that are currently in place. If they leave tomorrow, who's going to step in or who's going to serve in their stead if they're unavailable. Also, recruiting has changed significantly. So job fairs, as we know them, have transitioned to more of what I would call a hiring blitz. So having hiring managers on the spot to interview, even perhaps facilitate some sort of medical examination or drug screening with a third-party vendor on site, because employee or employment seekers are looking to have instant gratification. So they want to know quickly that they may either have an opportunity for an interview or may be able to advance in the recruiting process. So that has changed. Also, the way we work. COVID 2020 has transformed how we show up as an organization and how employees work. And while we do recognize that public sector may not necessarily always be able to provide remote working opportunities, but we do try to infuse them as best as possible so that we do have a flexible workforce.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. And when we come back out of break, I want to talk about some of the things that you've even provided to District 3 and to the town halls.
Okay.
So when we come back from break, we'll have a little bit more with our General Services Director, Ms. Danielle Nichols. So stay tuned and we'll see you right back in a few minutes.
I was a quarterback at Hardaway High School, college first round draft pick. On and off the field, we were taught to not show any signs of weakness. During the football season, I would stop eating, but I didn't know I was depressed. I thought that something was wrong with me. For 20 plus years was physical. We didn't have any education behind what mental health was. I started to learn it starts here first. If this is together, I'll be better as a father, as a man, and as a husband. Put the importance on your mental health. I'm not scared to talk about it anymore. The first tool is therapy. The second one is positive self-talk. And then journaling, putting your thoughts on paper. We have to redefine what being a strong man is and heal, love your mind.
Thank you for joining us with District Dialogue. I am your Commissioner, Martin Raxton for District 3. And today we're joined by the General Services Director of Douglas County, Ms. Danielle Nichols. So before we went to break, we were talking about job fairs and job recruitments, and I know that your team provided that opportunity at my last town hall, and I want to thank you and your team for being there. I think certainly what can we do, or how can we even inform our residents, our community, to let them know that Douglas County is a great place to work, is a viable entity, and how can we promote that even better as county commissioners?
Well, one of the things that is relatively new and on the horizon is that our county is partnering with WorkSource Georgia to highlight the offerings that we have in light of some of the federal changes that have created opportunities or vacancies rather in the job market. We are hoping to attract some of those candidates. So we are sharing our openings with that particular agency so that they can post those openings on their website. But in addition to that, what I encourage constituents of District 3 to do before your next town hall, peruse our job site to look at the jobs that are there. If they have questions about any of the jobs, we will be there, meaning the HR team will be there to answer any questions that they have, direct them to job postings that may be more befitting to their skill set, or talk about career pathing in terms of if some of those constituents don't really know exactly what type of job they want with the county, but they have some idea of the type of work they would like to do, or even if they've looked at a job that's posted on the website and they're interested in it, we can provide them with some guidance on what skills are required, how they can possibly have some exploratory discussions with leaders to learn more about that particular field or what's needed to be a viable candidate for various positions that we do have available.
Okay. Well, one of the things that, and I'm sure that you get this all the time, is as a leader, there's a difference between mentors and sponsors. And I think it's great when you have someone that can be in that room, to be at the table, to speak on that person's behalf. And I'm sure you've probably done a lot of that in your career, and professional career. So can you share maybe some of the wins or some of the things that you've experienced and how important having mentors and having sponsors really are?
So the way, if I could, I would bifurcate it twofold, in that a sponsor is someone that will champion you. So when you don't have a voice in the room, they can speak on your behalf. They can speak about your skills. They can speak about your personality and other attributes that you bring to the table. Versus a mentor, the mentor is what I would like to call your personal coach or a member of your personal board of directors. They will help you figure out, some of your shortcomings if you don't have a level of introspection where you can quite identify them, but they will also help you navigate the landscape in your current role or any future career opportunities that you're interested in. A mentor will give you feedback that you may not necessarily want to hear, but I think when you look at it from a retrospective point, you can then reflect on, okay, I understand what this meant or what my coach was working to convey to me, and how I can apply it to improve how I show up. A lot of times, employees don't know to ask for a mentor. So what we do in the HR department is we will make recommendations to leaders when they are experiencing either challenges with employees. We ask the question, have you assigned or have you identified a mentor for this individual? And for those who are high performers or they have high potential, partnering them with someone who can help provide the toolage that they need to, smooth out the rough edges or help them or serve as a sounding board so they can vent, and not only vent, so they can talk about how they feel, what they think about their job, what they would like to do, and that mentor would give them guidance on certifications that they may want to consider, education requirements that they may need to pursue. So we will work with the leader to partner their employee with someone that's befitting to the skill set that would serve as a great mentor for their employees.
Well, this has just been extremely informative. I think we just scratched the surface today, and I would love if you would consider coming back, because there's so many other great topics that I would love to sit down and share and get your insights on. But we certainly appreciate you giving us a few minutes of your day and sharing with us some of the things that you do as the Director of General Services here at Douglas County.
Well, Commissioner Raxton, thank you for having me, and I'll be more than happy to come back whenever you call.
Well, thank you again.
You're welcome.
So thank you for joining this segment of District Dialogue. I'd like to thank our special guest, Mr. KennethReddick II from Brothers Brunch Foundation, as well as the Douglas County General Services Director, Ms. Danielle Nichols. We look forward to the next time we come back together, and please be on the lookout for District Dialogue coming your way again soon. Again, this is your Commissioner, Martin Raxton for District 3. Have a great day.